enemies know what the nanny does. It's very telegraphed, so you can just flash away. But let's see what happens inside the game.
Indeed. Let's load onto the Rift. Let's get this day 2 of the EMEA Masters play-ins going. There's not too much action here in the early game. 5-point defense, the usual. Man, I miss the days of just 5v5 skirmish bot lane for first blood.
You mean the Heimerdinger support meta where everyone goes to destroy the turrets?
Yes. Good times, man.
I mean,
I
honestly, I prefer the Braum meta where just you have a Braum, you wait until a minute 30, and then you invade.
I mean, I'm here for a good jungle invade, and this is kind of the meta that we have, right? But what I'm especially excited about for this matchup and this group in general is how competitive these teams are. No one really more than a single win apart from each other, so we could see some very, very interesting results throughout the day over here. But yeah, little bit of a thing here, so you guys get to watch Rev's beautiful haircut a little bit longer.
Oh yeah, do you like it? It's the first time I dye my hair. It's really weird for me. I sometimes wake up, go to the mirror, and I'm like, wait, why is there blue in my face?
No, it really suits you well. I like it a lot.
Oh, thanks, Aton. I might go towards other colors later, but yeah. What do we expect to see in the game? Let's just try to analyze that first, and then we'll talk about her. We expect a bit more engaged from the side of Brunes. He has the early dominant jungler. I think in the 1v1, unless he misses everything, he should win versus a Wukong. He has a better clear, more HP. On the other side, if we wait until after level 6, then all of the fights become so much harder for the side of WLGaming.
I love the general statement of unless he's bad, he's gonna win.
Well, that's how champions work. That's how draft works. Okay, so sometimes you say this team has clearly outdrafted the other team. We see so much of that in LS Twitter. And then that team loses dramatically. That usually happens because that team is bad. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules.
That is true. That is true. Skill is sometimes a little bit more important than the whole setup. Yep. But we see an early gank attempt towards mid lane coming in from Bananito. So early pressure towards mid lane, trying to get Vladi ahead a little bit, and of course use the time you have on the bot lane. So this Annie, I think, will be a pivotal piece in the next few minutes.
Yeah, but I also like from OP the thing that they try to track Brunes at all times. They should know he's at his crack right now. There was a ward at his red buff, a ward at his chickens. So they know exactly the path he's taking. They know his timers. They know where to respect. And at this moment, I would expect Vendor to just walk back a bit because the Annie has her stun locked up, and you can just press Q on anyone. They cannot flash away from the Q.
Yep. They also just spotted Brunes in the meanwhile. Top lane, a little bit of a skirmish. Has Zero rushing out, has the TP, might have to burn that to not lose too much of the XP. Brunes backing in the meantime, so bot lane is going to go back to a little bit of a stalemate. People just farming, and we're chilling. We're chilling, my friend. So give me a quick estimate. First blood at 6 minutes, 7 or 13?
First blood at 8 minutes. On the top side, Brunes dies solo because that's the way that WLGaming wins the game. He needs to die. That gets him into the game. He needs to realize that he's not infallible, and he needs to repeat that lesson every game.
Well, fun fact, that was a trick question because now Brunes is going to gank top lane and Stenboss is going to cancel his back and die to the gank.
Did I reverse curse my team right now? What happened?
I don't know. I'll try to jinx Outplayed and you'll just jinx WLG and we're good, I think.
I see you're going for the Kenren Fury afterwards. I understand. Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna see what happens yet, but because it's a really chill game for now, it's only vision clearing, wave clearing. There's that one attempt on the top side, but I don't think that Hezero is too scared of that because Stenbosse plays with Ignite, so he has the kill pressure in the early game, but that means that he cannot afford to take a bad trade. Hezero can afford to take the bad trade, also his own, he can build items in lane, so even if that trade doesn't happen, it still doesn't matter to him. what Stenbosse needs to do is either rotate with the level 6 toward a jungle meetup, or maybe a mid lane, the old Adam in the Fnatic, as I like to call it, and try to get his team ahead, or just try and outplay 1v1. He has the counter matchup, so he should be able to be stronger in those 1v1 skirmishes.
Yeah. And also objectives is something we need to talk about, because Brunez already starting that off. They do have vision that he went over here, so Stefan is going to collapse on Invenzer, has the blast cone, and this is not a great spot to be in for the jungler. Luckily, WLG has the bot lane prio and is going to rotate over. Skirmish kicking off, but big stun coming through from Venzer. The damage is good though. Vladi finally joining in, 100 HP. He goes deep, finds the follow-up first blood going over to WLG. And with that, I think, Rev, the Jinx is officially in. WLG might probably lose this, right?
Might, because Vlad is flashing the right. The haste has no flash.
Like it. The stun is through. G-Haste is going to be cleaned up, but it's a 1-for-1 as Brunez falls as well. Eliam looking for a little bit more, but bit off more than he could choose. Stefan tries to follow it up for more damage, but Jayus survives it on 10 HP. Absolutely illegal as WLG somehow find 4 kills out of nowhere. What?
I asked no early game shenanigans, but they got the early game champions. If Rel doesn't hit multiple members with her crash down, she's just useless. She's just too slow, has no cooldowns, and that's why we don't usually see Rel so much in the high level play. She's telegraphed, and if she doesn't get her play, she just loses. But Stenbosse right now has the level 7 power spike, and Brunez is close, no flash, no ultimate, and no crab.
And then you have a Kaiser with 2 kills, 2 assists, 4 assists on the Annie, and the Victor with a completed book. Or at least the small book. It's not
a chapter. It's just a chapter right now. We have lost it, but it's still a chapter. So it has...
Aspiring author Vladi. I can see it.
He only has the first arc of his story, just the humble beginnings.
Indeed. But let's talk about these humble beginnings a little bit more, because that of course means that WLG now, with the early game champions and the early game gold, is in a pretty decent position to snowball this game over the next few minutes, although Outplayed is going to pull the trigger on this dragon.
Yeah, the dragon will go to the Italian side. They got the tempo avadash for this specific timer, so they got into the dragon, but there's still
never mind, top lane. That's a lot of damage. Flash forward, Stenbosse with the solo bolo.
I think the prophecy is already foretold. I think we are checking all the check marks one by one. Stenbosse got a solo kill on Hezero. Congratulations, WLGaming, for the 3rd win in this group.
Well, the one death or the solo death angle is fulfilled. So we'll get that rolling in a little bit. Herald, of course, now up as well. The 2nd dragon. Well, we'll get to see that in a little bit. That's the fun part. Casting with new UIs, trying to figure out where the dragon...
it's an ocean drake. So no ocean, no mountain for the soul.
I know we're just gonna get a Cloud Soul, man.
Oh no, the Cloud Soul is just Wukong, the Wukong land, that's what I call it. It's so good for him. He just presses the Cyclone and then gets an extra ghost and can do whatever he wants, but there may be a skirmish around the Held.
Yeah, indeed. A little bit better position here for WLG as Jairus is roaming up a little bit faster than Elam. Herald will be resetting, and this is massive for Outplayed, but the engage is in, the equalizer combo as well, and immediately the Rel is blown to pieces. Good Cyclone from Stefan in the back, but here comes the Chain of Corruption. They re-engage Stenbosse, trying to get in with a flamethrower, but they can't really connect. And Bananito is super low, trying to get out, actually manages to pick up a kill. It's a 2-for-1 in this exchange at the end, and Outplayed very happy with the result of that one.
Yeah, they really like playing in all those confined spaces. They have the Rel ultimate, the Chain of Corruption, all those AoE spells that make the job so much easier for them. But on the other hand, I was talking about early game champions. The early game now is officially over. We're on to the mid game, as we're gonna see in the replay as well, because of the Cyclone, the Karma Q, the Equalizer are all so good in all those confined spaces. The thing is, they need to win many more of those fights early on, because I didn't realize, but the Varus went lethality. If Wukong is not ahead, how will they deal damage later in the game?
It might get a little bit tricky. But in general, Stan Boss are really, in my opinion, almost carrying that team fight with the Equalizer, completely zoning out Jairus. And let's talk a little bit about this Rumble, because he is 30 CS up, almost. As the Magpen Boots has, I keep forgetting what that item is called, but he is working on his stuff. And the Herald still is up, and is gonna fall into the hands of Outplayed together with that first dragon. So all in all, WLG tried to answer this with a bot lane play, but it's looking great for the Italians.
It's looking okay for WLG, I think, as well. They got 2 plates, 2 and a half right now, and look at how much LM is missing. He already has, of course, the Humus Ghost Plate. That's a really good power spike for early on in the game, but he's missing so much XP, so much gold, and in the same time, WLGaming trades the equivalent, let's say, to a Herald, because Herald, yes, it gives you some local gold, but if you do not use it in an excellent scenario, you're just gonna get 1 or 2 plates right now. It doesn't even get 2 full plates. So they're getting the gold, and that means that in the bottom lane right now, it's so much harder for them to get the Kais out of the game and get the plates onto the Varus for him to scale as well.
It's a really nasty situation for Outplay to handle with this Kaiser, right? Krakens, they are already completed versus the Ghost Blade on Elam. So you have this offset of your top lane is ahead, but your bot lane is losing heavily. What is the worst case scenario? The worst case scenario, honestly, is Stan Boss getting farmed by Bruness. Beautiful lane gank here from the Lee Sin, even though Vladi was already roaming up. This was not looking great for the Rumble one way or another. So I think this game is just going to heat up as the Tibbers engage comes through. Get Elam out of this lane, man.
Where's Venzer? Why did he reset? If Venzer reset, what is Elam doing there? Okay, I'm scoping. I don't want to flame, but Bananito realized that he spent his flash immediately to get the Timbers on top of Elam. Elam had no chance of ever flashing this, no heal, nothing. The Ghost will not help you in those scenarios. So WLGaming realizing where does Outplayed has their weaknesses and just capitalizing on top of them time and time again. They may have lost the first reg, they may have lost the Herald, but they're more than 2k ahead earlier than the 14th minute mark in the game.
Yeah, beautiful punishing of the mistake there. But all in all, this nets WLG a 2k gold lead, while we have a little bit more of a river skirmish for some vision brewing here. The next dragon is going to be up in any second now, actually alive now. So that's the next objective, and Hess is already around, looking for the team fight here with the Ornn, although he doesn't have his ult.
Yeah, the Ornn doesn't have a tool, we don't have a Timbers, we don't have a Killer's Instinct, so that's really important buttons missing for the side of WLGaming. On the other side, the Equalizer is shortly coming up, and if they wait this timer, they have a great chance of just dominating this fight, unless...
Oh, the grab field! Forces Stefan to flash out, massive poke damage coming through, but the Equalizer is also good. Elam looking for an angle from the side. Here comes the Rel, beautiful engage, the Annie down for the count, Stefan in the backline. Beautiful, beautiful Cyclone just disrupting everything. That's the Victor farm. Vladi goes back to the base, and WLG just get wiped up. Jairus once again not able to enter the fight, and the Dragon goes to Outplayed.
And that's what happens when you don't respect the enemy's cooldowns. They still have their own cooldowns. Right now, the Killer's Instinct is still in the cooldown. Why would you ever go for a second rake? Whereas...
A little bit of a bait here with the crash down shield. Barely gets away. Brunez still looking for a follow-up. This could be a double for the Lee Sin. Sonic Wave goes wide. The turnaround, the CC is good. The Gold Drinker is completed. He heals up, and he just auto-takes him to death. Punches him out. It's proper boxing down here, man.
What's going on? What is going on in this game? There's a bloodbath. We have 16 kills in 40 minutes of game, and it's excellent. I love every minute of it. Right now, Outplayed has given some space for themselves. In 10 minutes time, they can always threaten the soul. And as you prophesized, it is a Cloud Soul. We see it, we don't love it, but you know who loves it? Stefan and Stan Bosse. They can just lay down their ultimates and kite around the enemy backline, just throwing circles around them. If they manage to do that, they will be able to dominate over WLGaming. On the other side, there is still time until that. They still need to open up the map a bit, because even after getting so many kills and such important timings, they're still a tad behind in gold.
But that team fight around Dragon kind of catapulted them up. Was around roughly 1k, so they are on the way back into the game in terms of gold. Objective-wise, obviously, they are wide ahead, and this might be something that can carry them forward throughout this game quite a lot, because an early Dragon Soul, as you mentioned already, could be pretty massive. The big question for WLG now is, right, you have this early game team comp, so to say, you get ahead, you have a Kai'Sa on 3 kills. How do you now find the fights where Jairus can actually find impact?
I need the front-end itemization is the name of the game right now, because you need to create that space for Jairus. You need to create the perfect circumstance for him to press the killer instinct and get into the enemy backline, execute one, execute the second one, and be able to play his game. And what they need is MR, and especially I think they need a mask on the top side so that they can shred the enemy. MR, how's it called? It's called Abyssal Mask. So if Ornn gets an Abyssal Mask, first, he will not receive any damage from Rumble and Karma, especially Karma, because we know that her scalings are not the best. She's designed to be a support champion, so even if you build AP, yes, you'll lose some damage, but it's not like a Victor. A Victor will be always able to deal a ton more damage. If you get the Abyssal Mask, you will not get damaged by those two champions, so you can prioritize Elam and Stefan, and then your carries, like Vladi and even Bananito with his support Annie, will be able to have a little bit more oomph. They will be able to go all in and just execute someone even without buying the extra void stuff.
So it's really gonna get interesting and heated once we get to the later stages of the game and the team fights for WLG, especially when Has can be around as the front line. For now, he's getting forced out of the river. Brunez looking for a little bit of an angle, and of course Lily Sin will be one of the major engage tools they can use outside of the Ornn ult. The question is, can he connect? Elam, one of the important ones, Sten Bosse, the other one, of course, and in the meantime, well, okay, we're trading Herald for a tier 1 mid. That's okay-ish, I'd say. And we don't get a fight. Never mind. There it is, Call of the Forge God, the caught out top laner with the Tibbers. Beautiful pick here by WLG, and that's gonna be it.
Yeah, that's a good pick out, but on the other side, they lose so much more. They decided to go in the mid lane turret a tad late, I think, so I don't think they're gonna get it here. What they might get is a bit more on the top side, no.
Oh, that's a good engage, I like it. The Annie blown to pieces. And with that, Outplayed kind of even out the tables again. And I'll be very honest with you here, Rev. Outplayed, they kind of need to start making some points in this group. Yes, the teams are pretty close together, but you're only sitting on 1 win.
Yeah, and if they get this win, that means that they might have the 2 most important wins in the group. WLGaming has already beaten the rest of the teams. They have an advantage over them. They know how to unlock the rest of the group. But if Outplayed has their 2nd win right now, they're already threatening going through the groups, going into the outs towards the main groups of the main stage. And there will be so much closer into getting in. If they lose this game, it's gonna be an uphill battle. On the other side, WLGaming needs to show some dominance. Even in the first game versus Outplayed, they had some moments of brilliance, but it was not enough. And it's still not enough because they should have been more ahead. They should have lost less, I think, if they wanted to say that we're so much better. And they need to prove it right here, right now.
It's a scrappy game, but I love scrappy games, and the entertainment factor definitely amped up, because I do love the way Outplayed are looking for these team fights at the moment. Dragon started up, nice connection here onto Elam, blown up as Jairus goes deep with the ultimate. And now, of course, this is only going to get harder for Outplayed. Looking for an engage, can't quite find it, especially with the Varus down. A lot of the damage left on the table, or rather, in the fountain. Dragon down to half. Outplayed just really in the standoff mode, looking for a little bit of poke. Here comes the Call of the Forge God, triple knock up with the Chaos Storm. Beautiful! Beautiful follow-up by Bananito, gets the engage and of course the kill on the Annie. And with that, the Dragon is done, soul point denied, and WLG finally win a team fight.
Yeah, and that's so smart play of them because they didn't wait for Stenbosa to just get an ultimate, connect something. No, they went and forced it. They know we have the numerical advantage. We have still the most important engage tool in the game ever presented. That's the Call of the Forge God, and they just commit with it. Hit zero, really good target selection, gets Stenbosa, gets him out of the fight, gets another kill, and then they can safely get the Drake without ever risking a 50-50.
Indeed, but now that we're hitting kind of this 20-minute mark, right, we're looking at the next round of team fights that would be coming up because Baron is live now. We have Dragon, well, Soul Point once again, an opportunity for Outplayed in 4 minutes. We got to talk about items here, right? Because you've got a massive 2-item spike on Stefan right now with the Black Cleaver just picked up, but on the other side, Jairus, 2 items as well, and Navori Quick Blades completed next to the Kraken Slayer for the Kaiser. All in all, yeah, this pretty much paints the picture we've seen throughout all the fights in the early, right? These teams are more or less dead even in my book.
Yeah, and I expect to see a Cleaver now completed for the side of Brunes as well. He has 417. He has far more or less the same as a Wukong, so he's in a really good spot right now. He might not be carrying himself, but he's setting his team for success. And those picks, that pick onto Elam, he realized how disconnected he is from the rest of the team, and he played so smartly over that fact. He needs to get all those good picks because even though the rest of his team is screaming team fight, the Lee Sin is not that good in team fight. He needs to either disengage on top of the crashdown from Venzer or just find a pick.
And I really feel like we're looking at a little bit of a tempo difference for both teams in the next few minutes as Brunes might get engaged on. Nice safeguard out. So let's talk a little bit more about the state of items, right? Because one of the main carries, as you already brought up, will be Elam for Outplayed. And this Varus is quite honestly a little bit behind, not necessarily in terms of gold, but the tier needs a lot more stacks. He still has not finished his second item. He needs some time to get rolling.
Yeah, and especially when you keep in mind that the lethality virus needs to be half an item ahead in order to always be a real threat, unless you, I don't know, have 5 items, have a soul, maybe an infernal soul, or with an elder deck, then you can always threaten with that kind of range. But right now, he's a bit underperforming. 4 deaths under his belt already, he's getting caught out left, right, and center, and he doesn't really find the arrows, unless there's a teamfight already erupting somewhere close with Stefan and Venzer getting all of those ultimates, then Bosse equalizing on top of all of the enemies so that he can just free hit and free abuse his range. I don't see him doing so much else apart from wave clearing. I will be really impressed if we check his damage graph afterwards and he's gonna be higher than Stefan, because right now I think the main AD carry from the team is the Wukong.
Indeed, that's going to carry on a little bit, but all in all, well, we all know a good game of League of Legends is like a bowl of delicious pasta. And as we know,
elaborate.
A good pasta takes some time to prepare. So, if we're going to 30 minutes plus, I think Outplayed will be very happy with that situation. The big question for me really is, how much can WLG force around this Baron as we're kicking off the Baron dance slowly but surely?
You know, as long as we don't have any action right now, I kind of disagree with that statement. And I think that Kenran would disagree as well, because if you ever talk to an Italian, you understand that the best pasta is al dente. As I like to say, al dente. So you don't want it to overboil. You want it hot, and you want to take it out right before the melting point. You don't want the game to just go on and boil and flow over. You want some good fights, some quality League of Legends. There's, I think, that good golden spawn, but there's the Ghost and the Chain of Corruption missing from the side of Elam.
Yeah, the Equalizer down as well. A lot of ultimates invested here just to push WLG away from this turret. And of course, denying entrance into the river on the top side. For now, Dragon up in 20. This is what we're fighting about, or kind of staring each other down for at the moment, and it's really all about the mid control in this situation.
Yeah, and right now without those 2 really important spells, I don't know if Outplayed can play the fight. There's 2/3 of the cooldown for Elam, but it's still so far away, and Stenbosa is only halfway done. They get the place in the river, they're first there, they try to establish their dominance, but Look, they engage.
Double knock up, and the follow-up is there. Call of the Fort God now finally coming through. Stefan looking for some damage, and down he goes the Kaiser. Beautiful burst damage coming through from Outplayed, but the turnaround is still there as Bruness is just running it down. Get the kick through. The turnaround damage from Venzer not even gonna matter as the Rel is cleaned up underneath the turret. Tier 1 falls, and so does Outplayed.
Oh, that's such a good team fight. They once again realized who is disconnected from their team, who is out of position, and they execute on it so well, even if they lose Bananito in the process. Even if Jerus dies for some reason with both of his summoners up. I don't know, I'm sorry. I said I will not flame, but this is subtle flame for me. I do apologize. They still managed to get that so well executed team fight and the second Drake in their position, because even if they don't like the soul, having all those single cloud drakes is so good. You just can rotate them up so much faster, and WLGaming is an out-rotating team, because here, this is what happened. Outplayed wanted to get the first position in the river, but WLGaming out-rotated them. They had no disconnected members, and they managed to start the fight 5v2. They managed to get away some really important ultimates, and that means that they win the fight 4-2.
And you start to really see the weakness of Outplayed's comp as well, right? Because Sten Bosse falls right at the start of this team fight, and Elam just, with the pressure on him, with the Lee Sin and the Ornn diving for him, he can't really get the damage out. So, the other three members, support, and, well, a Rel, as well as Stefan, who got some decent damage out. It's not really possible to win a team fight off of that. Well, on the other side, WLG, they're totally fine if Jairus goes down. Bruness and Vladi are just going to clean house.
Yeah, the fact that Bruness is so ahead of the curve right now, as well as Stefan, of course, he's not alone. Both of the junglers are playing exceptionally well at this game. Means so much for WLG. That means that they can afford to lose one or two members in the process. Vladi deals a lot of AP damage. He has the Realized Crystal Scepter at this moment, but it doesn't matter. Sorry, not Vladi, that's Bananito. It doesn't matter. They still have a Victor with an upgraded Luden's Tempest. Right now it's the Eye of the Luden. If Jairus goes down, they still have Bruness with a ton of damage for this point in the game, and Bruness again wants to find a fight.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to fight, it is now for WLG. Chain of Corruption once again goes wide. Elam tries to land some poke. The big thing really now, Sten Bosse not able to join the fight at the moment as he is pushing out top lane.
Yeah, on the other side, Hezero is pushing out the bot lane. He has the teleport, and that's why Anc is trying to hover towards the top side. They want to be in the middle where Sten Bosse can still join with his ultimate at least, if not the rest of his spells, and still get the teleport from the other side. But when WLGaming just respects that distance, that means that they have the advantage. Someone needs to go and answer Hezero. That someone right now is the Haste. The Haste doesn't have that wave clear in the end of the game. He cannot push in a 1v1 in the silent. Vladi will always outperform him in a 1v1. He will always out wave clear him. So he needs to go there, clean one or two waves really fastly, and then rotate again towards his team. On the other side, WLGaming has the advantage of being patient. If they are patient, they can find all those timers when one member of ANC will be disconnected, when they will mess up the tempo even a bit, and then they can strike.
And then we gotta talk about the Baron again, right? Because that is what it is all about right now. Vision lines established, people trying to clear out wards. WLG looking for a reset, and with this buy coming in now, I think they are more than ready to at least try and go for a finish of the game. Venzer gets found and poked down quite a lot. Look at the damage, the kick follow-up, and the deep dive coming through there, trying to go hard for this Rel and force them away from the turret. So Outplayed on the back foot here for the moment. And Chain of Corruption, once again, doesn't land.
Yeah, it always misses, and it's really important cooldown, especially if you hit anyone else rather than the Ornn, you can still manage to be a threat. On the other side, they now, ANC, sorry, from the other side, they pull Sten Bosse away from the top side. They want to try and punish the lack of cooldowns from the side of WLGaming. Vladi has no flash, Jairus has no ultimate, as well as Brunez. They're still waiting on their cooldowns. But is that enough for them?
That's the big question. We'll keep our eyes on Brunez. We'll keep our eyes on Jairus, because this Kai'Sa has been focused out so hard by Outplayed throughout this whole game. On the other side, Muramana finally completed for Elam, so if Outplayed can win a fight, I think the setting for that is right about and now. And still, Hess looking for an engage. Call of the Forge God would be beautiful in this choke point, but then again, you're facing down an Equalizer, which is also not fun to deal with in these small corridors. Shurelia's popped, but no one really finds anything. The Baron dance is a beautiful following of steps. And currently, well, the poke is starting to set in for Outplayed.
Yeah, when he managed to hit those chains of corruption, the damage kind of stacks if you get 1, 2, 3 arrows one after the other. It stacks a lot, and WLGaming needs to respect that. We see a reset immediately from here Zero, who teleports back because the next Drake is up and alive.
Yep, this would be soul point for either team. So, quite nice, but not game-changing to claim. On top of that, it is of course a Cloud Drake. Scuttle Crab is being secured right now by Stenbosse. Gives you a little bit of a vision advantage. Brunez can't quite find the engage in this situation, but the Dragon is started up and WLG has firm control of the river right now. Venzer looking for an angle, but of course you always have to care about the Ornn, completely preventing Stefan from entering the river. So soul point picked up by WLG.
Really good soul point, not for the soul, but once again for the sheer movement speed and slow resistance. Now, there aren't a lot of slows from the side of ANC unless Elam goes for the Shurelia's, not the Shurelia, sorry, the Sherilda's Grats, but it's still the movement speed allows you to rotate so much faster. They can go into the Baron, disengage, try again, go and catch out waves way faster than ANC can at the moment. On the other side, ANC still gets some good resistances from the singular mountain Drake they have, so WLGaming will need to dish out way more damage.
Oh, okay. That was a massive equalizer. If they had any follow-up on that, that would have been insane. Well, indeed. It doesn't quite happen, but that is gonna really just set off Outplayed to start up this Baron.
Look at Venzer.
Need to find an engage here. The Baron is already down to half. Look at the Rel on the flank. Venzer has a good angle to go in for a massive Magnet Storm, and the carries down to half. Not a good position. Stefan still killed off is not quite the thing I call this Wukong, but it's what you've got to mention with this Rel in the pit. There is a Havoc unleashed on Outplayed, and oh my god, the turnaround engage. WLG just press forward and steamroll them.
And once again, patience is key. They know that someone is missing. They're searching around and they manage to find Venzer. Somebody might think, why are you wasting such a key ultimate on a support? But the only engage that can be systematically done by the side of ANC. And then WLGaming just thanks the Italian team for the leash. They get the Baron and they immediately close out the game.
What a performance. Slow and steady. And in the end, the Greek team is gonna go up to 3-1. Outplayed, left in the dust and left to struggle for the remaining points in this group. Of course,